Ruslan and I are going to be discussing a major topic that I think is very relevant in today's world. And that topic is why high achieving men build unbelievable lifestyles, unbelievable businesses, but sometimes they lose their family on the back end. And we're super excited because we're going to share some stories. We're going to share some frameworks, and we're going to be prepared in this. We will challenge you as a man, and we're going to give you some quick wins as well so that you don't lose your family as you're scaling up your life and building a legacy. And so with that, I want to pass over the mic over to Ruslan here for a second. And the reason for that, Ruslan, is because, again, I'm sure some folks who have been listening now, they know that we've been blessed. We've both been high achievers. And obviously in other episodes, we'll share our failures as well, because I think it's important so that it's not been like all sunshine and rainbows along the way. But in this case specifically, we bonded over the fact that we're both family men, right? But we also want to win in life, and we want to have great marriages and in that regard. So in your situation, right, you have 4 kids, you've been married for 15 years, right? Why is not losing your family so important to you? And maybe a little bit of insight into, the keys that you see in that topic.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, it's why it's important to me. It's my biggest why. It's my reason to get up. It's everything for me. So I feel like when even starting any business, and years ago, I always said that, we can build it to whatever size, we can do whatever we want with it. But if we lose our family in the in-betweens of everything, it's not worth it. It's not worth a dollar amount. It's not worth any of it. So for me, that's my biggest reason. And just always constantly reminding myself is, hey, this is what happened in the beginning. Don't get lost in the business side of it. Family is what it's at. Because like we said, right, relationships is where it's at. And I think that's your biggest relationship you'll have in life. And most important decision you'll ever make is who your family is, who your wife is. So that's my end.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, you nailed it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys were watching this, right? You're watching this or listening to this because you are winning or you're trying to win, right? You're an up and coming high achiever. Maybe you're listening to this and you're not married or don't have kids yet, but you're trying to set yourself up so that you don't make some of the same mistakes that people before you have, right? We see it all the time. I've seen it in my networks. Divorce rates among high achievers are pretty high. The fact that, you win, you make millions, you build these amazing companies, and your kids don't want to spend time with you, when you're older. I have multiple friends whose dads have done. I grew up pretty poor, and my dad is absolutely amazing. So don't take that in a weird way. He just, we'll talk about his story in another day. But I have a couple buddies whose dads were like CEOs of major corporations. We're talking billion-dollar corporations, but they were on the road 6 days a week, and they were Saturday dads, right, for a couple hours. And there's no judgment to that. But also note that was never at all what my goal was coming into being with my family. And along the way, I want everyone on here to be aware that we're not going to give you the exact black or white system that you need for your family, because everyone's slightly different. Everyone has different scenarios. Everyone has different needs. There's also different seasons in life. But just note that, from what we're going to cover here today that we're excited about is why we see it happening, and then how to actually make sure it doesn't happen to you, right? And if you're already, unfortunately, there, you can actually figure it out, and you can typically recover it as well. So with that being said, though, I think one of the keys here is to understand that you, Ruslan, have a young family, right? 9, 7, 4, and 2. We're going to be 2, little Gabe. And then I have a 9 and 7-year-old, right? And so we're busy. You're running multiple companies. I'm running multiple companies. There's different seasons in businesses, right? Sometimes when you're in startup mode, you do have to sit down with your family and say, hey guys, I love you, but I'm, for the next year, it's going to be a little bit busy. And so we'll talk about stuff like that as we go. But you built a business over the last 3 years from zero to, an 8-figure plus company. Like, what was the conversations like in the beginning with your wife and maybe your children when you launched these new companies, and maybe you still are working 80 hours a week because you're running multiple companies, but what are those conversations that you have with, with Karina and the kids to make sure that they know that dad loves them, and then you still have that, you're not losing your family along the way?
Yeah. I mean, life goes fast, right? So 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, me and Karina are sitting and we're going to be starting this business, and just having the conversations up front and honest conversations. Hey, I'm not sure what it's going to take, but I know it's going to take work. If in the first 3 years I'm going to give it all I got, and then we can reevaluate, right? And it's a negotiation at the end of the day, right? Both people have to be okay with it. And I just remember having those, and I think kind of like in anything else, right? Having a business plan, but also having a framework on what's going to be happening, and the family has to be aligned on it, is the biggest thing that I'm blessed that we did, because it's what set the roadmap for the next couple of years. And then while it goes, life changes. You go back, you renegotiate, you plan out the year, you make sure you include everything that's important to you, and then you fill in the gaps. So for us, that was our biggest aha moment of like, hey, if I could go back now with hindsight, is just having that conversation and being open about it. Hey, it's gonna suck. It's gonna be long days. It's gonna be this, but let's figure out why we're doing this and if we need to do this. And a lot of it was, 4 years ago, going back, I mean, I'm doing good. Everything's fine, but I'm getting this depression on the back end of it. So it's like, hey, when talking about, hey, let's start a business, yes, the money's great. Yes, the changing people's lives is great. Everything's great. But, as selfish as it might sound, it's like, hey, I need this. I need to go and do this. And just talking to your wife, at least for me, it was my wife, and it was the most open conversation, and the stars aligned. It made sense. And, for us, I guess our cheat code now is planning out our year, and then weekend trips. Like I said, we travel quite a bit. We have a house in Arizona, and just getting away with the kids. But when I'm away, I still work, but not when I'm with the kids. I try to the best that I can, keep that phone away, hop on in the mornings, hop on in the evenings. Like I got it from Matt, right? Work sessions. You just hop in, you hop out, and you get it done. So that was, I would probably say, in a quick way, those are way of starting it, and then a constant conversation while it's going, while things are changing, of how can we adjust. And both people have to be 100% honest in here. That was our biggest thing. And yeah, it worked for us, and it's still working. Matt said, my hours are still long right now, but when we get away, we get away. And we get away, I think, more than I ever thought was possible while running multiple businesses. I thought it was impossible to leave.